Good morning, guys. In the last session, we discussed about what is logging and why we need to go for logging. Logging is the process of storing application execution details to a file. Okay. The process of storing application execution details to a file is called as logging. And the main purpose of the logging to understand runtime behavior of the application. When customers are accessing our application, how it is working in the background, to know that information, we are going to use logging in our project. There are several logging frameworks available in the market like Log4j, Log4j2, Log4j, Log4j2, Logback, Logstash, like that. There are several frameworks available. So when you are going to work with logging, the architecture we need to understand. So that is logger, layout, appender will be used in order to generate log messages of our application. So Java class, our Java classes will use logger objects. Logger object will provide the methods to generate the log messages. Then layout will be available. Layout will represent what is the format of the message, simple layout and pattern layout. And the next one, appender will be available. Appender is used to write the log message to the destination. So we have console appender, we have file appender, and we have JDBC appender also. And the next one, we discussed about what is logger, what is layout, what is appender, and we are able to implement logging in the Spring Boot application. So in the Spring Boot project also, logging is implemented. When you run the boot application, by default, the log messages are printing on the console. When you run the boot application by default, log messages are printing on the console. Okay, and we can implement the logging in our Java classes also. Yesterday we have created one Spring Boot application. In that Spring Boot application, we have taken REST controllers. In the REST controller, we have implemented logging. So first we are getting logger object by using logger factory. Okay. Then by using logger object, we are calling the logger methods. Then the log message is printing on the console. In the Spring Boot, by default, pattern layout will be used and the console appender will be used. So by default, pattern layout and console appender will be used in the Spring Boot. Okay. If you want, you can change that also. Yesterday, I have changed it by using property in the properties file, logging.file.name is equal to app.log. When you configure this property, it is going to print the log messages to the log file. It will print the messages to the console as well as it will print the messages to the log file also. Are you clear with my point? Whatever we have implemented in the yesterday session, are you guys able to practice Spring Boot logging?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are good. Next one, logging levels available. Log levels concept is available. So to generate the log messages, we are going to follow multiple levels. So this concept is called as log levels in the logging. When you are performing the logging, then it will work based on the log levels. Log messages will be stored, log messages will be generated based on the log level of the application. So there are several methods available. Debug method available, info method available, trace method, warn method, error method. Like that, there are several methods are available. Log messages will be stored to the log file based on log level. Okay. So logging having several levels. So we have several levels in the logging. What are the levels available in the logging, guys? First one, trace. Okay. Then debug. Then info. Then warn. Then error. So these are the log levels, guys. These are called as log levels. When you implement logging, the log messages will be generated based on log levels only. So what are the log levels available? Trace, debug, info, warn, error. Like this, there are multiple log levels available. Like this, there are multiple log levels available: trace, debug, info, warn, and error. Here, what is the purpose of trace? Trace is used to store every line execution details. So when you want to perform the logging with the tracing, okay, so how each and every line is getting executed, to trace the details, then we are going to use trace level. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Example, we are going to call logger.trace. Logger object we are going to get now, we are going to call logger.trace message. Whatever the message that you want to send, you can send it. So for every log level, there is a method in the logger object. Log messages will be stored to the log file based on the log level. There are several log levels available: trace, debug, info, warn, error. Trace is used to store every line execution details. Logger.trace, the message will be generated. Next one, debug level is available. Debug is used to store the execution details at low level. So how your methods are executing in the low level, if you want to inform to the log file, then you can use debug. Logger.debug, we can write a message like this. Okay, and the next one, info. When to go for info level? Info is used to store execution flow at the high level. How the method is started, method is completed, like that. If you want to give the information of your program execution at the high level, then you can go for info level. Each and everything, if you want to track, then trace. So in the low level, if you want to track, debug. At the high level, if you want to track, info. Warn is used to store execution process having any warnings. Warn is used to store warnings in the code execution flow. So when you are executing that code, you are getting some warnings. Okay, so then you can generate the warning message by using warn method. You can generate the warning message by using warn method. For every log level, corresponding method is available in the logger object. Log messages will be generated. Log messages will be generated based on log level. Log messages will be generated based on log level. So logging having several levels like below. There are several levels available like below. What are those levels? Trace, debug, info, warn, error. These are called as logging levels. What is the purpose of trace? Trace is used to store every line execution details. Logger.trace message will be generated. What is the debug? Debug is used to store execution flow at low level. What is info? Info is used to store execution flow at a high level. What is warn? Warn is used to store warnings in the code execution flow. Similarly, error is available. Error is used to store. What is the purpose of error? Error is used to store exceptions occurred in the code execution flow. When our code is executing, if any exceptions occurs in the code, then we are going to generate the exception message in the log file by using this error method. Okay. So logging works based on the levels. There are multiple levels available. Trace is used to store every line execution details. Okay, logger.trace, but we don't use a trace in the regular approach, guys. Debug we are going to use. It is used to store execution flow at low level. That means at minute level we want to understand how the code is executing, then we can go with the debug level. Info is used to store execution flow of the code at the high level. Logger.info. Warn is used to store warnings in the code execution flow. Logger.warn method we are going to use. Error is used to store exceptions occurred in the execution flow. So to generate the exception messages in the log file, we are going with error method. To generate the warnings, warn method. To generate the information messages, info. Debug messages, debug. Trace method. Okay, now, so based on this, levels only log messages will be generated. So in the Spring Boot, the default log level is info. When we are working with the Spring Boot application, in Spring Boot, default log level is info. So if you don't set anything, then by default, it will take the log level as info only. In the Spring Boot, the default log level is info. If you want, you can change that log level also, but the default is info. We can change the log level in the application using below property. We can change log level in the application using below property. So what is the property we are using to change the log level? That is logging dot level dot root. Root level I'm going to change is equal to warm. Okay, or is equal to error. Like this, you can set the log level. If you don't set any log level, then the default log level is info in the Spring Boot application. If you don't set the log level, then the default level is info in the Spring Boot application. Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? In Spring Boot, the default log level is info. We can change the log level in the application using below property logging dot level dot root is equal to error. And here, how which log levels will be printed? Then the level is info, right? When we set the log level, log messages will be printed from that level to higher level. So default level is info. That means info messages will be printed, warn will be printed, error. You see the arrow mark. So when you set the log level as info, then it will print from that level to all the higher level messages. If you set the log level as warning, only warning plus error will be printed. If you set the log level as error, only error messages will be printed. That means based on the your log level, from that level, all the higher messages will be printed. So when we set the log level, log messages will be printed from that level to all the higher levels also. So if your level is root, if your log level is info, info will be printed, warn will be printed, error will be printed. If your log level is debug, debug will be printed, info will be printed, warn will be printed, error also will be printed. Log messages will be generated based on log level. Having several levels like below. What are the levels available? Trace available, debug available, info available, warn available, error is available. What is the purpose of the trace? Trace is used to store every line execution details. Logger.trace, the log message will be generated. Debug. Debug is used to store execution flow of the code at the low level. Info is used to store execution flow at a high level. Warn. Warn is used to store warnings in the code execution flow. Error. Error is used to store exceptions occurred in the execution flow. Okay. So in the Spring Boot, the default log level is info. And we can change that level in the properties like logging.level.root is equal to error. And when we set the log level, log messages will be printed from that level to all the higher levels also. Are you guys clear with my point? What is log level and how it is going to work in the background? What is log level and how it is going to work in the background? Now see here, we have our Java application developed by using Spring Boot. So in this application, we have REST controllers, welcome, execution started info. Now let me write some debug also here, logger.debug. Now I'm writing this is welcome debug message. This is welcome debug message I'm writing. Okay. And similarly, here I'm writing this is welcome warn message. This is welcome error message. This is welcome error message. This is welcome debug message. This is welcome logger dot trace. This is welcome trace message. This is debug message. Welcome info message. Welcome info message. Welcome info message available. Welcome warn message and welcome error message. So like this we are taking multiple methods. One method with multiple levels of logging. So in my program, I'm using logger.trace, logger.debug, logger.info, logger.warn, logger.error. So like this, I'm using 5 levels here: trace, debug, info, warn, error. Okay. Now let's understand which log message will be printed to the log file. So let's understand which log messages will be printed to the log file. So this is my Spring Boot application. Start class is available. Let me go and execute my start class. Right click, run as boot application. It is having a web server. So Tomcat server will be started with the port number 8080. Tomcat server is started with the port number 8080. Then we can see boot log messages printed. It is saying that application started, Tomcat started, and port number 8080. Clear that console. Clear that console. Now go here, localhost colon 8080 slash welcome. Localhost colon 8080 slash welcome. We got the message. Now go to console. Can you see here what messages are printed? Info printed, warn printed, error printed. Is it printing trace and debug messages?
No.
In that method, trace available, debug available, info, warn, error. All the 5 levels available. But which levels are printing? Come on, guys, please respond.
One error.
Info, warn, and error. Why trace and debug messages are not printed?
Because
in the program, trace available, debug available, info available, warn available, error available. But what message is printed now? Only info, warn, error. Why only info, warn, error message is printed? Why not trace and debug?
Because you did not
in the Spring Boot, what is the default log level?
info.
In the Spring Boot application, what is the default log level, guys?
Info.
In the Spring Boot application, the default log level is info. So whatever the log level is available, from that level, all the higher level logs will be printed. If your log level is info, then it will print from info to error. Info will be printed, warn will be printed, error will be printed. If your log level is warn, then what will happen? Warning and error only will be printed. If your log level is error, only error messages will be printed. So log messages will be generated based on log level. There are several levels available for the logging: trace, debug, info, warn, error. Trace is used to store every line execution details, logger.trace. Debug is used to store execution flow at the low level, logger.debug. Info is used to store at the high level, logger.info. Warn, it is used to store warnings in the code execution flow. Error, used to store exceptions occurred in the execution flow. In the Spring Boot, the default log level is info, guys. We can change log level in the application by using a property logging.level.root is equal to error. When we set the log level, log messages will be printed from that level to all higher levels also. How to change it? Yes, I will set this. Logging.level.root is equal to some another level. Okay, go to the resources, properties. Yeah, root is equal to warn I am setting. What is the meaning of warn? When I set the log level as warning, then what will happen, guys?
only one and error will.
One and
Then
error.
one and error
error
message.
messages will be printed. Now,
Print.
so you see, earlier whenever we start the application, some logs of the Spring Boot will be printed on the console, run as boot application and see. The Spring Boot message is printing or Spring Boot message is also not printing.
Not printing.
Spring Boot message is printing. Spring Boot messages are not printing.
Not printing.
Why they are not printing?
Because root level is warning only.
Why they are not printing?
Because of
Root level is warning.
receiving.
Those messages will print at the info level. But what is the
Info.
level of our application now? What is the log
Higher
level of
level.
our application now?
One level.
So that's why they are not printing. Okay. Now go here, refresh, send the request. Yes, done. Now you see what messages are printing. Only warn and error messages are printing. Info is also not printed. So whatever the level you set, from that level, higher levels only will be printed. Now my level is warn. So it is printing warn messages and error messages of our application. If you set the level as a debug, so many messages will be printed. Debug messages plus info messages plus warn messages plus error messages also will be printed. Are you clear with my point? Log levels.
Yes, sir.
Earlier there was a fatal level also there, so it is removed or still
Yeah, I
there?
think fatal is deprecated, sir. Fatal means a critical problem. Logging level fatal. Logger dot. No, fatal is not available, sir. They removed it. Now the last level is error. So I hope you got the clarity. What is log level and why we need to go for log levels? What is log level and why we need to go for log level, that we need to understand. So if you use the level, whatever the level you set, from that level, all the higher level log messages will be generated. The default log level of the Spring Boot is info. So from the info, all the higher level messages will be printed. Very good. Okay, next one. Guys, if you observe in our application, we are having log file also. In our application currently we are having log file also. The log messages are getting generated to the log file. Whatever the log messages are available, they're generating to the log file. You can see that the log file is available. Refresh. The log file is generated. Okay, so ashokit.log, the log file is available. Now you can check it. Whatever the messages are getting generated, warn message, error message. Earlier, so info, warn, error. After changing it, it is generating only warn messages. All right. Next one. Here, when you are implementing this logging, if you store all the log messages to one file, for example, my application is deployed in the production. Okay, so I have taken one Linux machine. In that Linux machine, my Spring Boot application is deployed. In one Linux machine. Okay, fine. My application is generating the log messages. So the log messages are going to the log file. Okay, it is a production application. That means end users are communicating with our application. In the boot application, we have implemented logging functionality. So how we have seen the log levels and all, we implemented logging in our application. Then customers are accessing our application daily. So many customers are coming to our application. Our business is running. So people are accessing our application to perform the operations in the application. So continuously requests are coming to the application. Application code is executing. Log messages are generating. Those log messages are going to the log file. Okay. So daily 10,000 people, 20,000 people are accessing our application. Daily 10,000 people, 20,000 people are accessing our application. so many log messages are getting generated. So many log messages are getting generated. So if you store all these log messages to the log file, then after 1 month, our log file size is going to become very, very, very big. Okay. So if you are storing all the log messages to the single log file, after over a period of time, after 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months, for example, let's take an example. How many people will use WhatsApp daily? How many people will use WhatsApp daily?
Billion people.
Billions of people are using WhatsApp, right? Millions, billions of people are using WhatsApp on daily basis worldwide. So how many log messages will be generated for 1 hour in the WhatsApp? How
So
many log
many.
messages will be generated for WhatsApp in 1 hour?
Millions and billions.
TBs of data will be generated. Okay, so if you consider 1 month logs of the WhatsApp application, if you consider 1 month logs of WhatsApp application, a huge file will be created. So is it easy to read the data? Is it easy to read the data? Such kind of huge files, guys?
No,
First of
sir.
all, our system will support to open such kind of huge files data. Our machine will not support for that. Our machine will not support for that. Okay, so here when you are generating the log messages to a file, okay, today it is fine. In the class only I am accessing my application, 5-6 messages are generating to the log file. But think about real time. Our application deployed in the production, customers are accessing our application daily. So many messages are getting generated. Okay, so after 1 month of time, what about your log file data? 100 GB, 1000 GB log file data will be available. If your log file is having 100 GB, is it easy to open that log file? Is it easy to read that log file? Is it easy to analyze that log file? Come on, guys.
No.
Is it easy? Is it easy
No.
to read that log file? If your log file is having 500 GB data, then 1 month, from 1 month your application is running. From 1 month, every day customers are accessing your application, your code is running, log messages are generated, log messages stored to the log file. After 1 month, if you see your log file, after 1 month, if you see your log file, then there are 100 GB of log messages available, or 500 GB of log messages available in your log file. Then how you will deal with that? How you will deal with that log messages? So it is recommended to store the log messages to the single file, or it is not recommended to store the log messages to the single file?
Not recommended.
Not recommended. So it is not recommended to store the log messages to the single file, guys. Why it is not recommended to store the log messages to the single file?
The
Now
data
you
is
observe.
Huge
Now you
data.
observe. Yesterday I have generated a log file. Okay, yesterday is August 9th. Today is August 10th. So in the log file, yesterday messages available, or yesterday messages are not available?
Available.
No.
Not
What is the
available.
timestamp?
not available.
Not available.
What is the timestamp now? So
10.
that means yesterday message is available in the log file. Yesterday messages are not available in the log file.
Not available.
Not available.
Not available.
Why not available? You see, yesterday log files are packaged as one zip file. Yesterday log files are packaged as one zip file, and today a fresh log file is created. Same application, I have not done any changes. It is the same application, I have not done any changes. So we created this project yesterday and we executed the project yesterday. Yesterday our logs are available in the log file. Today when I run the application, what happened? It has taken the backup of the yesterday log file, created one zip file, and today a fresh log file is created. A fresh log file is created. This is called rolling policy in the logging. What is that concept, guys?
Rolling policy.
Rolling policy in the logging. So when we are implementing the logging in the project, we need to understand rolling concept. In the real time, in every project when we are implementing the logging, then definitely rolling concept will be available. So why we need to go for this rolling? Why we need to go for this rolling? If we use single log file, if you use single log file to store the log messages, then after few days, our log file size will become very, very big. Okay. If we use single log file to store the log messages, then after few days, log file size will become very, very, very big. Okay. Are you getting my point? If we use single log file to store the log messages, then after few days, log file size will become very, very, very big. If the file sizes keep on increasing, every day code is executing, every day business is running. Okay. If file sizes keep on increasing, then it will become difficult to open and to read that file data. Okay. So in our project, logging is available, log file is created, log messages are storing to the log file. If you use single log file to store the log messages, then after few days, your log file size will become very, very big. If file sizes keep on increasing, then it will become difficult to open or to read that file data. So then how to avoid this problem? Instead of storing the log messages to the single file, what we will do? We will store the log messages into multiple files, guys. Okay, so this is called rolling policy. Instead of storing the log messages to the single file, we are going to generate multiple log files. You see my application. Yesterday my file is available with the data. Yesterday logs kept as a backup, and today one more log file is generated. This is called rolling only. So that means every day rolling. Every day new log file will be created. Today log file is available. Today messages will be stored to one file. Again, when the tomorrow log message generated, so yesterday's file data will be stored as a backup in the zip file, and today log messages will be generated in the new log file. So like this, rolling concept will be available when we are going for the logging. So if you use single log file to store the log messages, then after few days, log file size will become very, very, very big. If a file size is keep on increasing, then it will become difficult to open or read that log file data. Then what we need to do? To avoid this problem, we will use rolling mechanism. To avoid this problem, we will use rolling mechanism. That rolling mechanism we can implement in two ways, guys. When we are working with the logging, then definitely we need to implement rolling for the logging. Rolling means I want to generate the new log file. I don't want to store everything in the single log file. I want to generate the new log file. For that, we need to go for rolling. So what is that rolling? That rolling we can implement in two ways, guys. One is size based rolling, and another one is time based rolling. One is size based rolling, and another one is time based rolling. Size based rolling, nothing but, so when the log file is generated, after storing 1 GB of data, then go for the new log file. Don't store more than 1 GB data in the single log file, because if you store so much amount of data in the single log file, that will become very, very difficult to understand. It will become difficult to read the data from that file. So that's why we need to implement rolling concept in the project. In the real time, for every project, logging will be available and rolling also will be available. Rolling we can implement in two ways. One is size based rolling, another one is time based rolling. Size based rolling is used to create new log file. Once old log is reached to the given limit, then we are going to create the new log file. Okay, so size based rolling is nothing but after reaching the given limit, then it should create the new log file. Size based rolling is used to create a new log file once old log file is reached to given limit. Example, I configured logging with rolling, that too size-based rolling. So if you store all the log messages to the single log file, then the log file size will become very, very, very big. If the file sizes keep on increasing, then it will become difficult to open or read the log file data. So to avoid this problem, we will use a concept called rolling concept. Rolling we can implement in two ways, guys. One is called size-based rolling, another one is time-based rolling. Size-based rolling is used to create new log file once the old log file is reached to given limit. Then next one, what is time-based rolling? Time-based rolling is used to create a log file every day. Every day, when the date is changed, then immediately I want to create a new log file. So we can go with the rolling appenders, rolling file appender. To configure the rolling, we are going to use rolling file appender. Rolling file appender, nothing but that will roll the log messages to the new log files. Either size-based rolling or time-based rolling you can configure. So logging with the rolling. So if you use one file to store all the messages, the size of the file will increase. It will become difficult to manage that file. Okay, so to avoid this problem, we will use rolling mechanism. Rolling we can implement in two ways. One is size-based rolling, another one is time-based rolling. Size-based rolling is used to create a new log file once the old log file is reached to given limit of 1 GB. And time-based rolling is used to create every day new log file. To configure the rolling, we will use rolling file appenders. And where to configure this rolling, guys? We can configure the rolling in two ways. We can configure the rolling in the two ways. One is in our application.properties file only we can configure. Within our application.properties only we can configure the rolling concept. If you don't want to do that, then there is another option which is recommended, logback.xml. So in the Spring Boot, we are going to use logback as a default logging framework. So there are several logging frameworks available: log4j, log4j2, logback, and logstash. Spring Boot will use by default logback. So that's why you can configure your logging information in the logback.xml file so that people will not touch that file. So that is separate a dedicated file to configure the logging in our application. So you by default you no need to configure, but if you want customization, then you can configure your logging information with log rolling information in the logback.xml. This logback.xml we will keep inside resources folder. So we will keep this logback.xml inside main resources folder of our application. Okay, so in this logback XML, what we are going to do, this logback.xml file is used to customize our logging in the project. So what is the layout you want to use for your application? What is the appender you want to use for your application? What is the level you want to use for your application? So all the logging related information you can configure in one file. That file is called logback.xml. It is used for customization of our logging in the project. What appender you want to use, okay? What is the log file name you want to use, and what is the rolling policy you want to use, and what is the log level you want to use. Everything you can configure by using this logback.xml. Okay, rolling is used to generate the log messages in the different log files. How many ways we can do that rolling? Rolling we can implement in two ways: size-based rolling, time-based rolling. Size-based rolling is used to create the new log file once the old log file is reached to given limit. So if I configure the size limit as 1 GB, after storing 1 GB of data, it should create the new log file. Okay, so if you don't want to go with the size, then you can go for time. I will configure time-based rolling, then every day new log file should be created. So by default, time-based rolling only working. So yesterday log message is available in one file and it has taken as a backup. and today new log file is created. Automatically it is taking time-based rolling. Automatically it is taking time-based rolling. That's why yesterday messages are not there in the today's log file. Yesterday messages are taken as a backup. You can see one zip file is created, gun zip file is created. So tomorrow again one more with the timestamp. August 9th logs available in one file. Today logs, latest file. Again, when I run the application tomorrow, then it will take the 10th August file as a backup and it will create the new log file. That is a default implementation in the Spring Boot. So in the Spring Boot, logback is available. In the Spring Boot, logback is available and it is working with the rolling. And what kind of rolling is working by default?
Time-based.
Did I configure any rolling in the properties file, guys? Did I
No.
configure any rolling in the properties file? No. Then
No.
why it is working like that? It is a default. They already know that if you store the data in the single log file, it is very difficult to maintain. If you store the data in the single log file, it is very difficult to maintain. So that is the reason they are doing like this. All right.
This mechanism is allowed
We are
in this
going to
ID
keep
or
this
any ID.
logback.xml. So where we can customize this rolling concept in the logging, logging customization where we can do in two places we can do. One is by using properties file, but it is not recommended. Okay. What is the best approach to customize the logging? Logback.xml. So that logback.xml is used to customize logging in our application, and we will keep that logback.xml under resources folder. We'll keep that under resources folder. So what will be there in the logback.xml? In the logback.xml, we are going to configure below components. What will be configured? Rolling file appender. We are going to configure rolling file appender with the policy. Okay. Then log message pattern, layout customization. What information you need in the log message? That log message pattern we are going to configure here, and logging level, log level. Okay. These are three details we are going to configure inside our logback.xml. These three details we are going to configure inside our logback.xml. Okay. Now, so if you go to logback.xml sample file, guys, you no need to by heart this, guys. In the internet, you can take it. Logback.xml file. By default, it will start with a, it is a XML file. It will start with a tag called configuration. Logback.xml will start with a tag called configuration. Then inside that, what is the appender you want to use? The appender details we are going to configure. Then next one, root level we are going to configure. What is the root level that you want for your application? And inside the appender, we are going to configure rolling policy. What is your rolling policy to generate the log messages? This is the high level structure of our logback.xml. You don't need to by heart this file, not required. Just to have the idea what is rolling and why we need rolling. Rolling is used to generate the log messages to the new log files. You can do size based rolling, time based rolling, and you can mix them also. Size and time, whichever comes first, then it will applicable. So to work with the logback.xml, you need to write a tag called configuration. Inside the configuration tag, appender will be available. Then inside that, rolling policy will be configured. Then after, root tag will be available to configure the details. So here, appender, what is the name of the appender that you are going to take? Appender name, I'm going to use rolling file appender. Okay, whatever the name that you want to use, rolling file. What is the class? To perform this rolling, file appender class is required, right? So with the package name, we need to configure, guys. Package name dot rolling file appender. I will give the package name. Rolling file appender will be available. And what is the log file name that you want to generate? What is the log file name that you want to generate? File, something like this, ashokid.log I want to generate. Ashokid.log I want to generate. Then encoder. Encoder is basically the pattern that you want for your log message. So encoder is used to configure the pattern of our log message. I told you layout, right? That layout we are going to configure as a pattern. The layout of the log message we are going to configure as a pattern. And rolling policy. So what is the rolling policy you want? That class we are going to configure. So time-based rolling or size-based rolling. Here also it is a predefined class. We are going to configure size and time-based rolling policy. Time, size and time-based rolling policy we are going to configure. And some properties we are going to configure here. Okay, what is the name of the file pattern that you want? Every day new file is creating. What is the file pattern? File name pattern. So you see the file name pattern here. Log file name with the date it created. Log file name with the date it created that file. So similarly, you can configure the new pattern. When the new log files are generating, what is the pattern that you want to follow? File name pattern you can configure. And the next one, max file size limit. Okay, max file size. If I give 1 GB, then after 1 GB limit reached, then it will create a new log file. Then max history. How many old log files you want to maintain? So 30 days logs I want to maintain, 30 old log files. When the 31st log file is created, then the new log file will be deleted. So max history, I want to keep 30. When the 31st file is created, then the old file will be, the first file will be deleted. So like this, you can configure logback.xml. Logback.xml will start with the configuration. Then inside that appender will be available. Then inside that encoder will be available. Rolling policy will be available. Then root level is equal to info. Level is equal to info. And appender. What is the appender I am going to use? Appender reference is equal to rolling file is our appender. So I want to use only file appender. I don't want to any console appender. So this is my file appender. File appender having a name. So the root level appender I am giving as a rolling file. So it will use only rolling file appender. My logs will be generated only to the log file. My logs will not be printed to the console. So like this, you can customize your logging implementation by using logback.xml. So this is the basic sample configuration of logback.xml. So just look at this one, configuration tag, then appender tag, inside the appender file and pattern and rolling policy, how you want to roll the log messages, then root level, info level. For the root level, I'm giving the appender as a rolling file. So it will use only rolling file appender to generate the log messages. My log messages will be generated only to the log file. It will not be printed to the console. It will not be printed to the console. Just look at that file once.
Sir, what is rolling file there, sir?
File name.
It's just name of the appender. For this appender, we are giving that name we are configuring as a reference.
Okay, sir.
Here in the encoder, you are providing the pattern, and in the rolling policy, you are providing the pattern. What is the use in both sets?
So here it is a file name pattern, that is a message pattern. The line number 222, the pattern is for the message, log message pattern. In the line number 225, that is the file name. When the second file is created, what should be the pattern of the first file? When you are taking the backup of the old log files, what should be the pattern of the file name?
So what is PKG here, sir?
So that is the package name. So just I have written the class name. Na? You
Oh,
need to
okay,
write fully qualified class name.
got it. Okay, sir.
The fully qualified class name looks like this.
Sir, developers only need to analyze and they only need to
Yeah, this is
configure.
the package name and this is the class name. In the log, this is a logback package. Logback is a logging framework. Spring Boot is using logback to generate the log messages. In that logback, rolling file appender is one class which is available in this package. And similarly, time and size based rolling policy is also a predefined class, and that is available inside one package like this. These all classes are coming from which framework, guys? These classes are from Spring Boot or these are from Logback?
Logback.
From Logback.
Logback is a separate framework which is used to implement logging. Our Spring Boot is using that Logback framework to generate the log messages.
Sir, it is a logback.xml. It is a combination of both the size as well as time here.
It is a combination of both. If you want, you can configure only one also. Size-based rolling policy, time-based rolling policy. Here I'm giving the mix. Okay. If it reaches 1 GB, then same day also 2 files will be created. If it is not reaching 1 GB, next day new file will be created. Anything is fine.
Then maximum history also it is a time showing na.
Max history means 30. If 30 files are created, it depends on the files, how many number of files are created.
Okay.
So if 30 is the max history, that means if 31st file is created, the first file will be deleted automatically. Backup files will be deleted.
Sir, in real time, how they store it, sir? Because they need to store all the data, right, sir? They cannot delete it.
Separate log server will be available, sir. For storing the log messages, they will take the log messages, log files backup, they will keep in a separate log server.
Okay, sir.
That is a Linux machine in the real time.
A person access logback.xml to Spring Boot, sir.
Yes, we will configure this file in the Spring Boot. Whatever the logging customization that you want to do, that customization we will do by using logback.xml. This logback.xml we are going to keep inside the main resources folder. Then Spring Boot will read this file and will perform the logging according to our requirement.
Okay.
So for each user log will be there or how?
Sorry.
So for each user one log will be there or how it?
No, sir. For application log will be there, not for each user.
Okay.
So
So if
users are accessing the application, same code will execute for everybody, right? Logs will be generated at the application level. Logs are not at the user level.
so if a particular user is getting some exception, so like how it will override if like
No, messages will be keep on adding to the file. You need to read the file data and you need to understand for which user it is failed.
okay.
That is log analysis.
Okay. Oh, okay.
All good. So with this we are able to understand what are the log levels available and what is rolling concept in the logging. So there are several log levels available. The default log level is info. Whatever the level that you configure, from that level, all the higher level logs will be printed. From that level, all the higher level logs will be printed. So the default log level is info in the Spring Boot. If you don't want that, you can change it also. Next one, logging with rolling. What is the meaning of rolling? Rolling is basically used to specify when the new log file should be created. If you are storing all the messages to the single log file, it will become very difficult to manage those logs. So that's the reason we are going to use rolling concept. To work with the rolling file appender is available, and that rolling we can implement in two ways. One is size based rolling, another one is time based rolling. And here that rolling also you can configure by using two ways: properties file or XML file. XML file is recommended because a separate XML will be available for only logging, so people will not modify that. That logback.xml file we are going to keep in the resources folder, and that file is used to customize the logging in our application. Okay, so what we are going to configure in the logback.xml? In the logback.xml, we are going to configure appender that you want to use, and what is the policy you want to follow, and what is the pattern that you want for your application, and what is the level that you want for your application. So I'm giving you one sample logback.xml, guys. So according to the project requirement, they will customize this logback.xml. Configuration, my appender, my file name. I'm giving the file name as ashokit.log. Pattern, this is the message pattern. As I told you, layout, pattern layout. Pattern layout. I want to print the date, thread, level, logger, message, new line. Rolling policy that I'm going to give you here. The log size-based rolling policy. File name pattern. When the new file is getting created, what is the pattern that you want to use? This is the pattern. Max file size 1 MB or 1 GB that you can configure. Anything is fine. History 30. Max history 30. So when 30 files are created, that's fine. When the 31st log file is created, then old file data we are going to delete. Then level. Level is info I am configuring. Appender reference, which appender you want to use for this level. Rolling file is the appender. Rolling file appender. I don't want anything console. Console logging is not required. I want to do only file based logging. Now take this XML and create this XML file in the resources folder. Go to the resources in the project, right click, new file. The file name, which is logback.xml. The file name is logback.xml. Click on finish. Okay, let me stop this one. Yeah, logback.xml file I created and I pasted my configuration in this. Okay, so this is my logback.xml configuration. So in this XML, our logging configuration is available. Okay, now let me delete the old log files that I have. I have deleted my old log files that I have. Now Spring Boot will use my logback.xml, which is used to perform the logging. Console logging is not available because appender I am configuring only rolling file. Now go to our start class. I have deleted my old log files, guys. Now I am going to the start class and let me run this. Run as boot application.
Sir, can you ping that logback XML code, sir, in the chat?
I will upload in the notes, sir.
Okay.
Now, guys, can you see the messages are printing on the console, or the messages are not printing on the console?
Not printing because the
Why they are not
console
printing on the console now?
In the
rollback
application properties we configured the one.
So the messages are not going to print in the console now. The messages will not be printed on the console. From the properties file, I am removing the logging related configuration, guys. The logging configuration I am keeping in a separate file called logback.xml. Okay. From the properties file, I have removed the log related properties and I created a file called logback.xml. I created a file called logback.xml. Okay. Now let's go to start class and let me run this application. Run as boot application. Run as boot application. Now application started. Messages are getting generated, but they are not printing on the console. They are not printing on the console. Log file is generated. So now application log messages will go to only log file. With the today's date, my log messages are getting generated. Let me access my application. Welcome to Ashok IT. I accessed it. So in the console, nothing is printing, but go to the log file. Now in the log file, you can see that my log messages are printing. The level is info. So info is printed, warn is printed, error also printed. Info is printed, warn is printed, and error also printed. Are you able to follow me?
Yes.
Sir, how is picking logback.xml file?
That is a default, sir. Spring Boot internally will take care of that. How it is picking the properties file by default, same way it will pick up the logback.xml also. File name should be same. So when the boot application is started, it will check in the resources folder. Is there any logback.xml file is available? If it is available, it will read the configuration of that XML and it will process the logging according to that XML. That is the default behavior of the Spring Boot.
So if logback.xml file is present, then it won't. So before it won't. Execute default behavior.
No, if the logback.xml is available, logback.xml is used to override the default behavior only, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So if
Got
the
it.
logback.xml file is not available, then it will go with the default behavior. If it is not available, if it is available, priority will be given to logback.xml. So logback is a framework that is used by Spring Boot to perform the logging. There are several frameworks available to perform the logging, and in the Spring Boot, the default framework is logback.
So we can use log4j also, right?
Log4j, but they are outdated, sir. Logback is
Okay.
used. And in the log4j, I think 2 years back, one bug also came, one vulnerability came in the log4j. The whole IT industry got shaken because of that issue in the log4j. Do you know what is the vulnerability that happened in the log4j? What identified by the people? Search in the YouTube. You will find a lot of videos regarding that. There was one bug in the log4j. Hackers can hack the application if the log4j is available in the project. Then later point of time, they fixed that bug and they have given the latest version.
So sir, is there any compulsion to file name should be logback.xml only?
Yes, sir. The naming convention is important, sir. Then only it will read.
Okay.
Sir, once you told that GitHub has that.
logback.xml code will be find in Google, or we have to write all the code?
You can copy, sir. You can copy from the Google logback.xml. You can take this file also. I'm giving in the notes.
Okay.
You don't need to by heart this file. It's not required. Nobody will ask you to write this file in the interview. They will ask you, what is your rolling policy for the logging? That question they will ask you. You should know what is rolling, what is appender, what is layout, what is pattern, what is the policy, what is the level. Okay, so those things we are configuring by using logback.xml. Okay, guys, fine. So yeah, I will take the questions at the end, sir, please. So if you're asking the questions in the middle, the flow will be disturbed and we can't complete the topic. You got my point? Please cooperate.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. So we as of now, we understood what is logging. The logging is a process of storing the execution details to a file. So this is very, very important in the real-time project, because when we are running a lot of applications in the real time, when we are running the application in the real time, multiple customers are going to access our project. So with the help of this, we can identify root cause of the exceptions. So to implement this logging, we have several logging frameworks in the market, right? So log4j, 4j2, back, stash, like that. And we are using logback, which is the default in the Spring Boot. Then architecture also we have seen, guys. Logging architecture we have seen. Logger will be available, layout will be available, appender will be available, and destination will be available. Logger is a class that is providing several methods to generate the log messages. Layout, which is used to represent the pattern. Simple layout means basic message will be printed. Pattern layout means customization we can do for the message. Appender, that is used to write the message to the destination. Console appender, file appenders are available. Console appender is used to write the message to the console, and file appender is used to write the message to the file. And that too we are using rolling file appender. I don't want to store all the messages to the single file. I want to store the messages to the multiple files. That's why we are going with the rolling file appender concept using rolling policy. And that rolling policy also we can do in two ways: size-based rolling and time-based rolling. So size-based rolling means after the given limit is reached, the new file will be created, and time-based rolling means every day new log file will be created. And this logging is going to work based on the levels, guys. So there are several log levels available. Trace, debug, info, warn, error. The default log level in the Spring Boot is info. Whatever the level you set, from that level, all the higher log levels will be printed. Okay. The next one, in the Spring Boot, the default level is info. You can customize that also. Then rolling policy we understood, and we discussed about logback.xml. So what is this logback.xml? What is this logback.xml? Logback.xml is used to customize the logging in the Spring Boot. What is logback.xml? So we will keep the log.xml file under resources folder, and in that file we are going to customize the logging in our application. Okay, so logback.xml file is used to customize logging in our application. That means what is the appender, what is the policy, what is the level that you can customize. That file we are going to keep inside src main resources folder, where our properties file is available. Where the properties file is available, in the same location we are going to keep our logback.xml. This is the sample configuration of our logback.xml. That's fine. Logging we understood. Then as a developer, another important thing for us, log monitoring. Another important thing for us, that is log monitoring. Okay, so I have taken one Linux machine. In the real time, applications will be deployed in the Linux machines only. Now my boot application is deployed in the Linux machine, which is having a logging. Then the log messages are getting generated. Okay, this Linux machine is available in the AWS cloud, or it is available in the USA client location. I'm a developer. I am available in Hyderabad location, guys. I'm working from Hyderabad location. My client is US. So my server is available in the US. My Linux machine is available in the US. The project is deployed in the Linux machine. Customers are accessing my application. Log messages are generating. The log file is available. The log messages are stored into the log file. Today, from morning onwards, customers are not able to log in into my application. So from today, customers are not able to, from today morning, customers are not able to log in into the application. So this server is available, server location, the log server location, USA. So our client is USA client, our machine is available in the USA, our application running in that machine, which is having logging, log messages generated to the log file. So end users are accessing the application, that's fine. But from today morning, we are getting some issue in the application, customers are not able to access. Then manager called you early morning at 7 o'clock and told that, Ashok, from today morning, customers are not able to connect with our application. Customers are not able to log in into our application from today morning. So could you please check what is the issue? Then as a developer, immediately open Make My Trip, book a flight ticket to the US, catch the flight, go to US and see the log file available in the Linux machine. Morning 7 o'clock, manager called me. Ashok, from today morning, customers are not able to log in into our application. So if they are not able to log in, that means some exception is coming in the application. So to track the exception details, only logging we have implemented. The log messages are stored in the log file. So 7 o'clock, I got a call. By 8 o'clock, go to Shamshabad, find the flight which is going to US, go to the US, go to the office, see the log file which is available in that office. Is it possible?
No. Not possible,
No.
sir.
No, it's not possible. Then, as a developer, from my system, I should be able to connect to the log file which is available in the Linux machine. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Are you able to follow me? My server is available in the US. My server is available in the US. So in that server nothing but a machine only, guys. Linux machine. My server is available in the US. My application is running in that server. Log messages available in that server. Log file is available in that server. I'm a developer. I'm available in Hyderabad. So morning 7 o'clock, I got a call from the manager saying that, Ashok, our application is not working. There is a serious issue. There is a blocker. Customers are not able to log in. Client is shouting at us. Please look into the issue immediately and fix the problem. So to fix the problem, first I need to see the problem. To see the problem, I need to see the log messages. The log file is available in the Linux machine. Linux machine available in the USA. I'm available in India, Hyderabad. I can't go to the USA. I don't have visa for that. Then how to check that issue? That's where log monitoring tools comes into picture. You can't go to the USA to check the log file. Then there is an option, log monitoring tools we need to use. So first of all, as a developer, you should know how to implement logging. Already we have done that. In the Spring Boot, Application, I have taken a REST controller. In the REST controller, I have taken a logger. By using that, I'm generating the log messages. I'm customizing the logging by using a framework called logback. Logback.xml is created. Everything is fine. My application is running in the machine. Okay. Then how to check the log messages when there is a problem in the application? How to check the log messages when there is a problem in the application? That's where log monitoring tools comes into picture. What are the log monitoring tools we are going to use in the real time? In the real time, we can use Putty to monitor the logs, okay? And we can use WinSCP to check the logs. We can use ELK to check the logs. We can use Splunk to check the logs. These are called as log monitoring tools, guys. These are called as log monitoring tools. Putty, WinSCP, ELK, and Splunk. Putty and WinSCP tools are used to connect with the Linux machine, guys. So through CLI, if you want to monitor the logs, then you can go with the Putty and WinSCP software. If you want to check the logs by using some UI, user interface, then you can go with the ELK and Splunk. So these tools are used for log monitoring. So what is the meaning of log monitoring here? As a developer, you should know how to implement logging, and you should know how to monitor the logs also. So log monitoring, it is the process of reading or observing log messages available in the log file is called as log monitoring. Log monitoring is the process of reading or observing the log messages. Okay. It is the process of observing or reading the log messages. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? What is the meaning of log monitoring? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of log monitoring?
To observe the logs of the
log monitoring is basically used to monitor the log messages of our application. Log messages of our application. So there are several tools available to perform the log monitoring. So in the real time, where the log files will be available, where the applications will be deployed in the real time, applications will be deployed in the Windows machines, or applications will be deployed in the Linux machines in the real
Linux machine.
will be deployed in the Windows machines, or will be deployed in the Linux machines. 100% it is deployed in the Linux machine. It is a process of reading or observing the log messages available in the log file. That is called log monitoring. Okay. So now to perform the log monitoring in real time, log files will be stored in Linux machines only. Okay. So now to read the log messages from the log file, we are going to use several tools. Those are called as log monitoring tools. To get the log messages from the log file, we have several tools. What are the tools available? You can use Putty. You can use Putty, or you can use WinSCP. You can use ELK. You can use Splunk. ELK and Splunk will provide user interface to monitor the log messages. Okay. ELK is open source. Elasticsearch. ELK stands for Elasticsearch. L stands for Logstash. K stands for Kibana. The combination of three products is called as ELK. Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. They are used to monitor the logs of our application. Splunk is very powerful advanced log monitoring software. This is commercial software. You need to purchase the license of the Splunk in order to use it for the log monitoring of your application. In all the MNC companies, people are going to use Splunk only to perform the log monitoring. That is a commercial software. Company will purchase the license of the Splunk to perform the log monitoring. So if your company is startup, if you don't have a budget, then you can set up ELK stack to monitor logs of your application. Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. The combination of these three products is called as ELK, that will provide user interface to monitor the logs of your application. Then WinSCP, it is WinSCP and PuTTY, they are used to connect with the Linux machines. WinSCP and PuTTY used to connect with the Linux machines. So can I show you how to connect with the PuTTY to the Linux machine, and can we see the logs of the one Linux application, one application, guys? Can I show you that PuTTY option now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
in the
sir.
real time, how we are going to connect. So guys, what Linux machine I'm going to connect is, I cannot connect with my company Linux machine, but I connect with our Ashok IT Linux machine. For Ashok IT, we are developing a new website by using Spring Boot. So currently it is in the testing phase, guys. Test.ashokit.in home. So this is my new application which I am developing by using Spring Boot and Angular. So currently testing is going on for this application. This application is not live for the users to access. Mostly in another 1 week, at least by this month end, I will bring this new application. This new application developed by using Spring Boot. Existing Ashok IT website that you are using, it is developed in the PHP. Okay, so but I want to redevelop this application by using Spring Boot and Angular with microservices. So almost development completed. We are in the testing phase of this application. So this is a test.ashokit.in, which is in the testing mode, test phase. I'm running this application in the Linux machine. I have taken one Linux machine and I am running this application in that Linux machine, and I mapped that application to the domain name also. Now I will connect with my Linux machine where this application is running. Okay, and I will show you the logs of that. So when you go for real time, they will share the log server details with you. Okay, now I have my log server details. I'm going to the PuTTY. PuTTY is a software which is used to connect with the Linux machine, and this is the IP address of my Linux machine. Click on open. It is asking the username. I will enter my username is root, password which is a secret. Okay, yeah, I'm pasting my password and connect. So with this, I'm able to connect with my Linux machine. Now let me go to the location where my log file is available. Home Ubuntu machine I'm using. Now you see there is one nohook.out is available. This is the log file of my application. Now I want to see this log file data. Then cat file name. If I use a cat file name, now you can see all the log messages of my file. So these all are the logs of my Spring Boot application. See here, there is some exception is occurred. So as I told you, application is going with the testing mode. So these are the messages. SQL syntax. So student ID does not have a default value. We are trying to insert one record into student table without a primary key value. So that is the exception we are getting. Okay, and you see here there is another exception, could not execute the statement. Could not execute the statement. So database related exceptions we are getting. Okay, so student ID does not have a default value, does not have a default value. I think for one of the table entity class, primary key is missing. That's why we are getting these exceptions. So these all are the log messages of my application I'm getting by using log file. If you want to get the last 10 log messages of the file, tail command we are going to use to get the last 10 lines of the log file. If you want to get the first 10 lines of the log file, then we are going to use head file.
Head command.
This is the first 10 lines of the log file that I am getting. So this is my Spring Boot application which is running. Spring Boot application which is running. Okay, so as a developer, you should have the knowledge on the Linux. As a developer, you should have the knowledge on the Linux. Then only you can monitor the log messages like this. I have the knowledge on the Linux. So that's why I'm able to connect with my Linux machine by using PuTTY, and I'm able to get the log messages. For the JRTP people, so some people already learned Linux. For some people, Linux is pending. We will discuss these Linux topics. These are very, very, very important to monitor log messages of your application. So what is the purpose of WinSCP and Putty here, guys? Putty and WinSCP softwares are used to connect with the Linux machine. Putty and WinSCP softwares are used to connect with the Linux machines. Putty and WinSCP. Putty and WinSCP softwares are used to connect with the Linux VM. So in the company, the operations team, DevOps team will set up the log server and they will give the IP address, username and password. Then by using that IP address, username and password, you can connect with the log machine. If you are going for WinSCP, how it looks like? Let me open my WinSCP tool. I'm opening the WinSCP. So when you open WinSCP tool, 1 minute. I'm bringing the tool here. Yeah, this is my WinSCP tool, guys. You can download this tool and you can open this. Let me open once again WinSCP. That is a GUI tool which is used to connect with the Linux machine. Yeah, it is asking the which machine you want to connect. Linux machine IP address I am giving, port number, username, password. Click on login. So with this, I'm able to connect with the Linux machine. If you see the left side, my Windows machine is available. Right side, my Linux machine is available. In the Linux machine, these are my jar files of the Spring Boot application which I am running, and this is the log file that I have generated. Okay, if you double click on this file, then the log file is opened. These are the log messages of my application. These are the log messages of my application. And you can see, so see here, currently everything is storing in the single log file. Currently everything is storing in the single log file. Still I have not implemented rolling policy. These are the logs which generated just now. Today, these log messages are generated. So like this, the log file is available to store the log messages of my application. So by using WinSCP, you can connect and you can download the log file also. If you want to download the log file from the Linux machine to Windows machine, just drag and drop. From the Linux machine, I'm downloading that file to my Windows machine. So WinSCP is used to do like this, file transfer. You want to upload the file from Windows to Linux or Linux to Windows, directly drag and drop you can do. But if you want to read the logs based on the time and all, then you need to connect it to that machine by using Putty. Putty is one open source software which is used to connect with the Linux machine. Once you connect with the Linux machine, you check where the log file is available and you use Linux commands to get the data from the log file. So cat command space file name, which will give the complete data of the file from top to bottom. Head command, which will give you first 10 lines of the file. Tail command, which will give you last 10 lines of the file. JRTP people, do you remember? We spent almost 10 days for Linux.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember all these commands?
Yes, sir.
What is the purpose of cat command?
To
Print
display
the
all the
To read the log file.
To
Whatever the
read the
file.
data from the log file. Complete data we can read from the log file by using cat command. What is the head command?
To
This
print
is
the
the
top
first 10.
top
What
Yeah,
is the
log
head command?
It
To
will
get the
display the
top
log.
10 lines. What is the tail command?
last
Display
10 lines
last
of
10 lines.
from the log.
I want to print the lines which contains exception keyword.
grep.
What is the command?
Grep.
Grep
What
hyphen
exception I
I
want?
exception. Grep hyphen I exception. What is the file name? No hook that out. So see, these all are the lines which contains exception keyword. So this is called log analysis. This is called log monitoring. Now tell me, Linux is required for the developers. Linux is not required for the developers.
Must required.
Required for the
Must and should for
It's
the
required.
developer. Must and should for the developer. If I don't have the knowledge on the Linux, can I do all these operations? No.
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 Ashok sir, we can find log file with the same name or we can have a different name.
You can
With
use
no
any name
hook.
for that. Any name for that.
How can I identify this is log file?
They will tell you the path of the file, sir.
Okay.
So whoever is configuring the log file, this log file I configured, right? So I know this path, I know the file name. In the real time, what is the log file of your application? They will tell the path where the log files are available.
Okay.
They will give you IP address of the Linux machine, username and password of the Linux machine, With that, you can connect to the log file. You can connect to the machine, you can go to the path. So basically, what they will tell you is, they will tell you log server details. They will tell you log server details, IP address, username to connect with that machine, password to connect with that machine, log files path. They will give you. So IP address is something like 192.168. something. 4 parts will be available, 4 octets will be available for IP. The username, which is log user, the password, that is log user @ Ashok IT, something like this. Log files path. Your log files are available in /home/ubuntu/logs. Okay, so they will share this information with you. Then by using this information, you can connect to that log server machine by using putty. I have connected. Okay, I will show you once again how to connect with the log server by using putty. Observe carefully. Observe carefully. My application is having a login. My application is running in the Linux machine. In that machine, my log file is generated. It is available in the USA. Now I am using Windows machine, but my application is running in the Linux machine. That Linux machine is available in the USA. I'm in Hyderabad. My project is getting some problem. As a developer, I need to connect with that my machine, and I need to check what are the problems available in the application by reading the log file. So this is called log monitoring. So what is a log monitoring? Log monitoring is the process of reading or observing log messages available in the log file. So in the real time, log files will be stored in the Linux machines only. To get the log messages from the log file, there are several tools available. What are the tools available? Putty, WinSCP, ELK, Splunk, like that there are several tools available. So what is the purpose of this Putty and WinSCP? Putty and WinSCP softwares are used to connect with the Linux VM. Okay. Now in the real time, operations team, operations team, I mean to say DevOps team, operations team will share log server details like below. They will share the log server details like below. Log server IP. That means in which machine your log files are available, and what is the username of that machine, and what is the password of that machine, and what is the path where the log files available in that machine. They will give you the details of the log server. Once they give these log server details, as a developer, you need to connect with the log server by using some softwares, and you need to see the log file to understand the problems. So if you want to do this kind of log monitoring, then definitely you should have Linux knowledge. Otherwise, you can't do that. So for JRTP people, we have taught already Linux. Backup videos also we have provided. Linux important, very, very, very important to survive in the job. Now, so I have my log server details. Now I want to connect with my log server and I want to see the log file. So first step, you will get the log server details like this. What is IP address of your log server? What is the username of that machine? And what is the password of that machine? And where the log files available in that machine. Open Putty. In my system, Putty is installed. I will open Putty. It is asking what is the IP address of the machine that you want to connect. So I am using Windows, but my logs available in Linux. From the Windows, I want to connect with Linux. So for that, I will use Linux IP. Okay, click on open. It is asking what is the username of that Linux machine. The username is root, password. You can't see the password, whatever I'm typing, guys. So I will type the password, then connect it. So with this, I'm able to connect with my Linux machine. Then go to the path. Guys, come on, JRTP people. What is the command to change the path?
CD
space /home/Ubuntu. So in this location, my log file is available. Okay, this is the log file that I am using currently. nohook.out. That is the file which is available. So now tell me what commands we can use to read the file data in the Linux machine. Cat space file name. What is the purpose of cat command?
To read the file.
Read the file data from top to bottom. So there are so many log messages available in the file. I don't want to read all these messages. I I want to get last 10 lines only. How can I get only last 10 lines?
Tail command.
Tail space file name. I'm getting only last 10 lines of data. I want to get last 30 lines of data. Come on. Fast.
Tail and specify the lines.
Tail
number, hyphen M,
20,
number name.
file. It will give you last 30 lines of the file. In this log file, which lines contains exception keyword? I want to find out that.
Use the grep command.
Grep command. Grep hyphen I. What is the keyword?
Part of the
Exception
File
file
name.
name. So in this complete log file, 1000 lines are there. I can't read each and every line. So in which line the exception keyword is available, I want to get only that lines of data from the log file. For that, I'm using grep command. Now, tell me guys, so many people asked me, Ashok, in the JRTP, why you are starting with Linux? Now, do you know the reason why I have taken Linux classes for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If you know this information, if you know how to play with the Linux machine, you will have the confidence like anything when you go for the real time. Tomorrow, when you go to the company, manager will tell you, hey, Ashok, our application not working. Can you check the logs of the application? Then the log file is available in the Linux machine. Can you tell to manager that I don't know Linux?
No.
Can you tell to manager that I don't know Linux?
No, sir.
Remember guys, initially in 2013, when I joined in my first job, I struggled a lot due to lack of knowledge on the Linux operating system. In my first job, I faced so many problems and I lost my job also due to lack of all this knowledge. Within 20 days, I lost my first job because at that time, I don't know what is putty. I don't know what is WinSCP. I don't know what is Linux, how to work with Linux. Manager told me to check the logs in the log file. I don't know how to connect with Linux. I don't know this tail head grep commands in the 10 years back, 2013. So due to lack of this knowledge, I was not able to survive in my job. I was not able to do my task. Then manager called me and asked me, do you know Linux or not? I don't know. Do you know how to do the log monitoring? I don't know. Then how do you work on the project? So he fired me from the job. Within 20 days, I lost my job, first job. Now, my students should not get such kind of problems when they join in the company. That is the reason, whatever is required to get the job and to survive in the job, everything I'm covering in the JRTP. JRTP is one of the most famous course in Ashok IT, not only in Ashok IT, in the entire Amirpet, the Ashok IT JRTP is very, very, very famous because we are learning complete real time. What is required for you to work in the company. So once you complete all these tools, you complete the mini projects and major project, you can work with any kind of project in the real time. You can work with any type of company. You can work with any type of manager also, because technically you will become very, very, very strong and you can do the things on your own. Whatever the work that I am doing in my company as a manager, you can do such kind of work on your own. But the thing is, your practice is also very, very important. I'm giving my 100%. I'm expecting your 100% also. Then only magic will happen. Only if I am keeping my 100%, if you are not practicing, there is no use of this course. And I'm betting on this. So if you go to any Java real-time project batch courses in other institute, nobody will give you this much clarity on the real-time tools.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Nobody
Yes.
will give you this much depth on the real-time tools with the complete real-time scenarios.
Sir, where are the Linux videos, sir? I missed those things, sir.
Yeah, in the YouTube, the Linux videos are available. So I will share the links. Now, if you are in the videos plan, in the JRTP course also, Linux videos we have uploaded already.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, one question asked by the HR that in how many project you have worked on Linux like that. So
you can say that for every project, Linux machine will be available.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good guys. Fine. So we understood how to do the log monitoring by using putty. Okay, what is the difference between putty and WinSCP, guys?
CLI and
CLI based.
CLI based and
And WinCP is the GUI based.
User interface.
Come on. What is the purpose of putty and WinSCP?
Monitor the logs.
Connect with the Linux.
Yeah. Used to connect with the Linux VM.
Yes.
And putty is CLI based.
Is CLI based?
WinCP is the GUI based.
It's UI based.
Yes. Putty is CLI based and WinSCP is GUI based. So if you want to execute the commands, then you can go with the putty. If you want to download that file, whatever the log file that you have, if you want to download it, then you can go with the WinSCP. And in the real time, so some people don't want to work with this putty and WinSCP. They don't want to execute the commands to get the log file. Then those people will go with the ELK and Splunk. ELK is the combination of Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Splunk is a commercial software which is used to monitor the logs of the application. So in our course, ELK is included, sir. So in the coming classes, I'm going to show you how to set up the ELK software and how to get the logs of our application. And next one, Splunk is available. Splunk is a commercial software. Splunk is commercial software, but here I can't purchase the license of the Splunk software, guys, but I will show you how to use that Splunk. When I was working in my previous company, when I was in Deloitte company, I worked for Deloitte for 4 years, guys. So when I was in Deloitte company, I have recorded one video when I am monitoring the logs by using Splunk. If you go to Ashok IT old videos, log monitoring video, I have uploaded 5 years back. This video I have recorded in my office laptop when I was working in the Deloitte. Okay, now let me show you how we are going to use the Splunk. Basic idea you will get what is the Splunk and how I am going to use the Splunk software. Okay, this is WinSCP we have already seen. I will show you the video which I have recorded when I am working with the Splunk software. Okay, so when you go for real time, they will give you the Splunk URL like this for you. Okay, so this is my company Splunk URL, guys. This is 5 years back video. So just to get the idea how the Splunk software is going to look like. ELK I will cover in our project. ELK I will cover in our major project as well as in the major project I'm going to cover the ELK part, which is free only. Then go to splunk.ri bridges. That was my URL. So this is the URL of my company Splunk server. That is a commercial Splunk. They have created a username and password for me to connect to the Splunk. I was a team member at that time. They have given the Splunk access for me to monitor the logs of my application. So through GUI, through user interface, you can monitor the logs. Okay, so my Splunk software is loading. The URL and credentials available. Yes. So this is my Splunk. I connected with my Splunk software. Search and reporting. So using that Splunk, I will get the logs of my application. Splunk is very, very, very advanced commercial log monitoring software, guys. So in the company, separate Splunk admin team will be available. Who will set up this Splunk? Who will load the logs to the Splunk server? Who will create the users in the Splunk and all? They will give the Splunk server URL, username and password for you. Using that, you can connect with the Splunk and you need to write the Splunk queries here. Using the Splunk queries, you can get the logs, last 30 minutes logs, last 15 minutes logs, last 1 hour logs, last 7 days, last 30 days, today log, week to date, previous year, previous month, like this. So based on the requirement, you can get the logs of your application by using Splunk, which is a commercial software and very, 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 very advanced log monitoring software, which is used in the real time. Mostly in the MNC companies, this Splunk software will be available for every application. So you have the lot of options to filter the logs. Now I'm filtering the logs by using a Splunk query. Correspondence.log, that was my log file name. Yes, now you see, I got the logs of my application. These logs are 2018. So the video also recorded at that time, 5 years back old video. But just to give the clarity for the people, how to use the Splunk software in the real time, I have recorded this video. Just like this, you can apply date filters also. You can select the logs based on the time, last 15 minutes, last 30 minutes. So yesterday date related date range logs, you can get it. by using this Splunk. So like this, user interface will be available in the real time in order to monitor the logs. If your application is a startup company, Splunk is not available, then you can go for ELK setup, which is free of cost. ELK also will provide this kind of user interface to monitor the logs, but as it is a free, so many features will not be available. Whatever the features available in the Splunk, all the features will not be available in the ELK, but still okay. User interface will be available to monitor the logs of our application by using ELK. If you don't have the ELK also, then Putty or WinSCP you can use. Putty or WinSCP you can use. Putty is used to execute the commands, Linux based commands you can execute, and you can get the log messages. If you want to download the log file directly from the Linux machine to your Windows machine, WinSCP you can use to download the log file directly. I'm closing my Putty. Okay. So this is log monitoring. As a developer, everybody should know two things: how to implement logging and how to perform log monitoring. So implementing logging, nothing but you should generate your application execution details and you need to store into the log file. The process of generating application execution details and storing into the log file, the process of storing application execution details to the file is called logging. This logging is used to understand runtime behavior of the application. This is used to understand the runtime behavior of our application. Okay. Once the log file is generated with the log messages, then log monitoring tools will be available. They are used to monitor the log file data. Whenever some problem occurred, then we need to troubleshoot that problem. To troubleshoot that problem, we need to connect with the log file. Log file will be available in the Linux machine. Log file will be available in the Linux machine. So to connect with the log server, we can use Putty, WinSCP, ELK, Splunk. Like this, there are several softwares available. So Splunk and ELK will provide user interface to monitor logs of our application. ELK and Splunk softwares. ELK and Splunk softwares provides user interface UI to monitor logs. ELK is free, Splunk is commercial. Okay, ELK is open source and Splunk is commercial software. So with this we understood what is logging. Guys, with this we understood what is logging and why we need to go for logging. So we understood what is logging and we understood why logging, and we discussed about logging architecture, what is logger, layout, appender, and we discussed about log levels. We discussed about what are the log levels available, and we discussed about logging in the Spring Boot. We discussed about logging in the Spring Boot, and we discussed about rolling policies. We discussed about rolling policies, and we discussed about log monitoring. Okay, log monitoring we can do with the Putty and we can do with the WinSCP. Putty and WinSCP, they are used to connect with the Linux machine. So when you connect with the Linux machine by using Putty, the CLI commands that we need to execute. The CLI commands that we need to execute when you connect with the Putty. Okay, so if you want to connect with the Linux machine through GUI, then you need to go with the WinSCP. You need to go with the WinSCP. So if you want to use UI, then you need to go with the ELK and Splunk also. ELK is free, Splunk is commercial. ELK is free and Splunk is commercial software. Are you able to follow me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. So with this we understood what is log monitoring and why we need to go for this log monitoring.
Sir, once we got the bugs, how will fix and push that, sir?
You need to see the log message and you need to see what is the problem. Then you need to fix that problem.
So it will be in the production server. Will they give me permission to make changes?
Yes, yes.
Sir, if you want to put a log in JSON format directly, is there any direct way?
Sorry, can you come again, sir?
So if I want to put the logs in the JSON format like name hello pair, is there a direct way or I have to code for that like to log?
No. Can you come again? I did not get your question.
So if I want to format the logs in the JSON format like name hello pair and then put into the log file.
Then you need to write your custom logic, sir. Default will not be available for that.
So one of the challenge like on WAS, right? Like we're trying to use ELK to monitor the log, but then on WAS, it doesn't accept the format that we have from the log file. Rather, it we have to specifically convert it to JSON. So that's the reason. Like
yes, you need to convert that separately. By default, it is not possible.
What about on the cloud, like ECS, like
wherever log files will not go in the form of key and value. Log files will not go in the key and value pairs. It will go with the normal data only.
Okay, on ECS, does it directly accept any kind of format other than?
Yes, any kind of format it can accept.
Okay.
So we can see that your putty and WinSCP right now is on your local system. When we will make that project, we will install those on our Linux, AWS machine. Na?
Correct, sir.
Sir, to practice on putty, can we connect to any server, sir?
Putty is used to connect with the Linux machine, sir, basically.
Right. Can we have any sample Linux sandbox type of machine, sir, to connect?
You can create the sandbox machine in the AWS cloud, sir. In the Linux classes, I have explained.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll check
how to create the Linux machine, how to connect with that, I have already explained that.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
So for this batch, Linux classes are completed already.
For JRTP people, for some people already completed, for some people it is pending. So I will cover this. The Linux classes I will conduct once again.
AWS, sir, what about AWS class?
Both, sir, Linux plus AWS.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so guys, with this, we understood what is logging and what is log monitoring, these concepts, right? What is logging, what is log monitoring, and how to perform the log monitoring also we covered as part of this. Okay, so with this, I'm stopping for today. And tomorrow morning, there is a Java 17 free workshop at 9 a.m. guys. I hope you already got the link for the Java 17 features workshop. So if you're interested, you can attend for that workshop tomorrow morning. That will be taken care by other trainer. We have our next JRTP class on Monday. So Monday we will see what is the new tool or new topic that we are going to start.
Sir, that ELK tool, can you explain?
ELK I will explain, sir. Yes.
Sir, as you told that due to vulnerabilities, Log4j has been outdated. So the Logstash and Logback is extension of Log4j, or
they have fixed that issue, sir. That issue is not there in that. In the logback, we don't have that issue.
Logback and Logstash is extension or replacement?
Replacement.
Okay.
SL4J. Sorry, sir. Can you come again?
About SL4J.
Yes, sir. I will explain that, sir. In the Monday session, I will cover the difference between Log4j and SL4j.
Okay.
And we are doing our customization on that XML file. Same things should we do on that properties file also?
Sorry, can you come again?
Like in properties file, we are writing log.level.root kind of only and enabling which log we want.
So instead of doing that in the properties file, we are going to do that in the XML file, logback.xml. Here we are enabling that level info. You can
No,
change it.
in XML file, we are doing some customization also in rolling policy, na?
Correct.
So same things how we do on properties file.
Yes, in the properties also you can do the customization, but it's not recommended. So we don't do that. If you type logging, then you will get all the properties that you want to do the customization. Logging pattern file, logback, rolling policies, total size, max history, max file size. Like this you can configure. These are the properties available. But in the real time, we don't do like this. We'll go with the logback.xml.
Okay, I mean, why don't we do that? I mean,
So properties
Because
file we are
already
keep on changing. Na? Properties
other
files we are
customers.
going to keep on change. That's the reason it's not recommended. By mistake, if
Sorry,
anybody change that file, it will affect our logging in the application. That's why we will maintain it separately.
Can you please repeat again? Someone was speaking in between.
If you configure logging policies in the properties file, every time we are going to make some changes to the properties file in the application. So by mistake, if anybody change that property, then logging will be affected. That's why we will maintain that separately in the logback.xml so that nobody will touch that file.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
In that project, we are which framework we are using for
Sorry,
logging?
sir?
In our course, which logging framework we are using?
Logback. That is whatever I have used, logback. Same thing in the project also, we are going to use the logback only.
Okay. Thanks.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes.
So it's related to GitLab. In STS tool, so under Teams, I see two pull commands actually. So what is the difference? Which one to take? Pull is to get the latest updates, right?
Okay.
So if we take the STS tool, right, under Teams, there are two pull commands, two pull options are there.
Sir, it's
So
better
which one?
to do from the Git bash. From the STS is a lot of confusion. Directly do it from the Git bash for you. When I'm doing the project now, then I will explain from STS how to do the operation. For now, you can do it from the Git bash.
Okay. So what is the difference between GitLab and GitHub?
GitHub is a version control software. The GitLab, more advanced features, pipelines you can execute from the GitLab directly.
Okay. Okay.
So we didn't cover GitLab in the Git
Yes,
sessions.
sir. I have not covered as of now. Correct. GitHub and Bitbucket I have covered.
Yes. So are we going to
We'll see,
learn?
sir. Actually, it's not included in the syllabus. If I get some time, I will complete the syllabus, whatever I have promised. That is the additional topic. At the end, we can see that.
Okay, sure, sir.
Sir, does the GitLab is some extension when you say it, right? Like, is it like the command that we executed, right? Pull, push, and to build everything that is getting pipeline and automatically?
Yes, in the pipelines you can integrate in the GitLab. So whenever you do the code changes, directly you can execute the pipeline from the GitLab directly. More advanced features are available in that.
Jenkins is also same, right, sir?
Jenkins, yeah, Jenkins is also can do the same thing.
Okay.
Jenkins, we are going to learn.
Sir, one doubt.
Ah.
Are there any classes happening in the night time for the Angular?
Yes, sir. 8 p.m. Angular classes are happening. Yesterday,
No, sorry.
there was no class.
No, sorry. Morning times. Oh, I connected from US.
Okay, morning currently not available, sir.
Okay, actually,
The
I could
batch
not
is
able to
scheduled at evening
join.
currently. Whenever the morning batch, currently it's not there. We will see.
Can we
Sir,
join in the future batches? So
go through the video, sir. If you go with the future batch now, then major project you will not understand, sir. Because major project we are going to develop as a full stack application, right? If you don't learn the Angular now, then you can't understand the major project development.
Yeah, a little bit.
You need to cover the videos at least.
sir,
I would like
do
to
we
get
have
the.
today class for 9:30 class?
Yeah, we have the Spring Boot class also. Yes.
Sir, one doubt actually.
Yeah.
Last doubt. Sir, I would like to get the backup videos of the previous classes. This
talk to admin team,
Spring
sir. They
Boot.
will explain the process.
So I need to write an email or.
Yeah, write an email and talk to them. They will tell you what is the process.
What is the mail ID?
ashokitschool@gmail.com.
Okay.
Today Angular class is going on evening.
Yes, sir, it will be there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys.
Sir, do we have Spring Boot class today?
Yes,
Thank you,
we
sir.
have. We have Spring Boot class also, guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Ashok. Have a good day. Happy
Thank you
weekend.
guys. Good day. So tomorrow join for Java 17 workshop, guys.
Sure, Ashok.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Do we have to go to institute or
Sir, it's online class today, sir.